What's up guys, welcome back to another one of my videos. On today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to render a very simple chrome wheel. So we already did some spheres that showed you how to do some chrome. With this one, I'm gonna show you how to do a little more complex surfaces, still keeping it simple. And this one, we're not using computer or animation. This is gonna be a full hand drawn and you get to see the whole thing. So check it out. So for today's video, we're gonna do a very simple wheel, which is kind of like the same wheels that would come like on a classic car, just like simple chrome wheel. And the way we're gonna do this is we're just gonna grab our circle template, if you don't want to draw them like freehand, and I'm gonna also help you understand how wheels, like kind of like the surfaces that are most common on a lot of wheels. So if you have, that's like the outside where the metal will meet the tire, right? Then all the wheels usually have some kind of lip to them. Then they would have a surface that is kind of flat. Then they would have a little step. Then they will have a flat surface, and sometimes a lot of that flat surface will come from the very edges. I'll show you that in a little bit. And then after that, we will have like kind of like a center hub. And if we want just to add some design to that, we can have some kind of bubble to it, right? So that looks like a very flat piece, and you kind of have to see it in 3D. So basically what we have is like, this is a flat surface, it goes in, then it goes up like a little step, then there's nothing next usually, and then we have this that is facing forward, and this could be some kind of bubble to it that it will be chrome. So we're gonna start with using our same technique that we did last time when we did chrome. We did a chrome sketch. This time we're gonna do a chrome, but that has a very interesting surfacing because some of them are reflecting upside down, some of them are reflecting up. So we're gonna start by marking our horizon line. So nothing will be higher than the horizon. It will go back into flat, and then we have that surface which is facing forward. Then we have this inside surface which is upside down. So now we flip that. And then we have this little step which is facing up, and this will stay. It has some kind of angle, but it'll stay upside down as this one, because even though it's angled, it's still facing down. So surfaces that are facing up will have the earth tones on the top. Surfaces that are facing down will have the earth tones on the bottom. Then this surface, we can make it like, if we want to make it interesting, we can make it kind of just flat. And then this will be curved, because this will be kind of like a sphere, right? So that looks like nothing so far, and it will start to take shape as we start adding color, right? So now we're gonna go and do a darker tone. So that was, I started with a warm number 1, which has like a brown tone to it. That's the number 2. And notice how I lift as I go backwards, because I want that tone to fade away. Then I'll go with a number 3. So this pretty much on the center is like we're drawing a chrome sphere. And we've done that before. If you haven't seen it, check some of my other videos. So we have the number 3. And like I said, this probably looks like nothing to you so far, but it will start taking shape, and then I'll show you some pictures that will make all this make sense. Number 5, I'm still working all warm tones. All my tones are warm. Then I'll switch to my cool number 5. The reason is I always explain this is because once I go past 5, it's kind of hard to tell if it's warm or cool. And this just makes it a little darker. So it won't take the warmness away, but it'll give me like a darker tone to it. And then I'm gonna start doing my sky tone. So all my surfaces that are facing up are gonna start getting some earth tone to it. This marker is super dry, you can see it. I believe I have another one. So all the surfaces facing up is catching sky. All this one and this one, those two are catching sky. And I'll show you how we can distinguish one from the other one by adjusting the tones later. But all the surface catching sky, all this, and the sky will be like the bluest at when it's away from the horizon, and then it will start getting lighter and lighter as it goes towards the horizon until you make sure that you leave white in between your horizon and your ground and your sky, because if not, your car is not going to look shiny, or your wheels or whatever you're working on. So now I'm going to try a different blue, which is the first one I use. I always start with the first one is called Saphire Blue, and it's like the lightest blue that Ad Marker makes. The next one will be my Azure, it's called, and you can see it's like slightly bluer. I'll go with my next blue, which would be, and I don't always follow the exact same blue. Sometimes I change it a little bit. I'll play with it depending what kind of tone I want to do. This one's called Ice Blue. And what I can do to distinguish this surface from this surface is I'm going to leave this one a little lighter because it's facing more towards the horizon, because it's a surface that is facing up, and this one's facing towards the sky, so that one will capture a lot more of the darker tone on the top of the sky. This is a lot darker. So if it's too dark, I'll go back with another one and try to like tone it down a little bit. But this will be called Light Blue. Light blue. Okay, light blue. And you can always go back with your lighter blue and drag some of that tone out. You see, kind of like it grabs some of that tone and it fades it up a little bit. So you get a better transition of color from one to the other. Like that, and then I can decide here in the middle if that's going to be a surface that is just facing towards us, kind of, or it's just a hole where you can see towards the back of the car. Let's try to do it with almost like if it was an aluminum instead of like a chrome. Let's work it like if it was aluminum. So what I'm going to do is kill some of those colors that the chrome picks up. So I'm doing exactly the same, but almost like a monochromatic, where I'm having my earth, my sky, that was number 1, cool number 1. This is cool number 2. I'm gonna use 3. And I think I'm just gonna stay at 3 because I don't want it to go too dark, because aluminum doesn't change that much a tone as much as chrome does. And if this doesn't look chromey enough, it's because we hadn't gotten to the magic part, which is when you start adding black to your chrome, and that's when your chrome is gonna come alive. So all your horizon lines is this high contrast that you get when you get like your lightest light against your darkest dark. And that's when it's gonna start looking like super chromy. Again, I like to curve it like as soon as I reach some of the edges, because chrome just for some reason loves to wrap around edges and stuff. So all the like dark horizons will start to bend a little bit. Right, and maybe I can say that there's some kind of hole in the middle of this wheel. I want to. Let me see if I have one small enough. That'll be a little too big. I'll just freehand it. So I can say there's some kind of hole in there, and I can always just punch it in. And then pretty much that's how a wheel will look on like a very classic car, and I'll show you some videos. I think I can go a little, punch up the blue even a little more. Let me see if it's not too much. Yeah, let's do that. That's gonna make it look chrome. It looks more chrome the more color it shows. So if you show a lot of brown and you show a lot of blue, we'll start looking really chromy. Right, and up to there we have like a very simple shiny chrome wheel. What we can do also after that, and this is something I wouldn't do on my final sketches, but I would do on my quick sketches where I just want to get like a cool fast wheel somewhere in there. You can always grab it and let me see, let me use my blue pencil so you can't see the strokes. I never erase, I just keep like with lighter colors. So like if I was to go like that, and that, and this will show you how easy it is to understand that I drew all the circles like if it was one big surface. So when you do wheels, you sometimes have to understand that even if there's spokes and stuff like that, they probably were machined as one single surface, and then they cut the holes in between. And that works also for when you're making your sketches and your renders. You can do exactly the same, and then you can just go in there and just gonna do the edges with this one that has like the sharp tip on it, and then the rest I would finish it up with the other bigger black marker that I got. I go black all the way here to the edge because that will be a shadow getting casted on itself, on the wheel itself. So now I'm gonna change my different marker, which is like a bigger tip to it, and I can color this a lot quicker. Also have to get used to working around these cameras, because usually I don't have cameras in front of me that doesn't let me move my head and get closer and rotate the paper that I like, but I'm getting used to it. Notice how when I'm working dark colors, I would usually start away from my hand and then work this way, because if I started with this one and I move up and that ink hasn't dried, it will get here on my hand, and then I will drag it all through my drawing and I will destroy it. Right, so now you have a chromey wheel. You want to add a little simple detail, like say this is just like mainly for when I'm doing quick sketches. It's not a detail wheel. I can always go boop. Can go 1, 2. And then you make it come alive by having some kind of white paint or some whitewash, or if you have anything that it would be shiny. A lot of times you can start with a white pencil, but a lot of times on the marker paper, it won't pick up enough color. Other papers it works, but with marker paper, it's not very good at picking up the white highlights from just the pencil. So I'm gonna work the edges where it will catch a little bit of light. Right here. My circle is not big enough, so I'm gonna broke that. Can do it here on the bottom of those little like wheel nut holes that I just carved in there. This edges, so top edge will catch a highlight, bottom edge won't. So top edge, and also here the lower edge of that like cut that I did in there. Right here. Here, top edge. Here you can choose which way the light is coming from, right or left. Just make sure that when you do that, it's consistent with all the other places that are catching kind of some light. The other thing to notice is, like I said, this will be my wheel for like a quick sketch, because it's not super detailed, but it still looks really good for something that is a second read, because people will be focusing on the design of the car, not necessarily the wheel. So this is a great wheel for that. But if I was doing some kind of like final render, I will make sure that all this inside, instead of being black, it would actually have some disc brakes and disc calipers and color and all that stuff, right? So now we have the highlight edges, but we need, the chrome likes to shine super bright where like the sun reflects on it, right? So if I have like, if I put some bolts into it, it will have some highlight. I will pretend the light is coming maybe from this side. So I will have a highlight right here. Maybe I'll have a highlight right here. I'll have a highlight on this bottom edge. I will have a highlight here. I would have a highlight maybe there. I will have a highlight here. And you just keep highlighting, and then definitely these edges will probably be way shinier than they are. Actually, I'm just gonna freehand it because I don't want to rub all the color with the pencil. So this edge, bottom edges. And then if there was a tire on the top, I will have like a highlight right here and somewhere in here, and it will be a lot more noticeable if I put the wheel on it. So we have highlight here. We can add highlight here. We can add a big, like I said, highlight here. You can add a highlight here and here and here. That's pretty much it. Super quick wheel that shows chrome, that has surfaces, that shows you how it flips. So sometimes your sky's on top, sometimes your sky's on the bottom, depending of which way the surface is facing. Now, if I wanted to keep playing with this wheel, what I can do is give it a little more shape to it, and that I can do by just shading it. So if I want my arms to look like they bent inwards, I can darken this ones. And then I can darken this part, because that's the part that is not facing up anymore. See, so now I created a wheel that has light catching here and light catching here on the top. So you can just keep playing and playing and manipulating what the surface are doing. So with that marker, I killed my white edge right here. And if I bring that back to life, it's gonna look really good because now I have more contrast to work with. Same as here. Same as here. Same as here, and same as this edge. So that's a very basic chrome wheel. I'll show you that with 3D modeling and stuff to understand how the surface is reacting and bending. And this was just a quick video to get you comfortable drawing chrome wheels and drawing wheels that have a little more volume to them. Thank you guys for watching again. Don't forget to subscribe. I hope this video helped you a lot. I will post also the names of the markers that I use on the bottom so you can try to follow it and try it yourself. Make sure you use marker paper. It's very important. If you don't use marker paper, you're going to be wasting a lot of money. So thank you guys and see you guys next week. Take care.